All right, what is up, everyone? I am a few minutes late today because I was talking to a friend and I lost track of time, and here I am. So, good morning. It's Tuesday. It is the second Tuesday of the new year, I believe. We are. I think we're now like solidly stuck into. It's not. It's not. This is the first Tuesday of 2025. So here we are. How's it going? How has your week been? How's your year started off? How's everybody feeling? What's up, Michael? What's up, Bridgewater? How y'all doing? Let me send out the bat signal that we're live here because I'm definitely late. People might have stopped by and thought maybe it wasn't happening today, so we'll throw the note up for everyone. Let's see where we can do that. Let's see. Put it up in the Discord. We're going to throw it up on Blue Sky, and everywhere else should have gotten a notification. And yeah, so let's see. What's up, NWK from Malaysia? What's happening? Jorbis, how you doing? What's up, Charles? Busy month and some change. Oh, what kind of change? What you got? All right, yeah. So a move. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Is that I can't read Cyrillic, so I'm. Is it Anton? Is that how I pronounce that? Okay. So I do not have a plan today, so I thought we could maybe work up a plan together. So I have a couple ideas, right? First and foremost, I'm always just happy to talk. I like hanging out with y'all. We always have good conversations. If there's something on your mind, hit me. The other thing that we can do is I am still working toward the V2 of Learn with Jason, which we have decided is going to actually be a rebrand because I can't leave well enough alone. What's up? Eddie, how you doing? Coding Mountain Man. Concepts of a plan indeed. What's up, Maurice from Nairobi? What's happening? All right. What's up, Robert? How you doing? Yeah. Okay. So first and foremost, I'm not going to show you all of my secrets. So take that one off the table. But yeah. So we can just talk. We can work on the V2, the rebrand of Learn with Jason. Or I have the software that makes Leet Heat work. I'm working on a V2 of that because the first version was fine, but it didn't have the ability to like correct errors. There was no way for me to fix something if it went wrong. Like for example, I misclicked at one point, and I in episode 1 I gave somebody points that it should have been the contestant, and the other contestant, I had no way of fixing that. So we just had to make sure that the gap in points was actually a little different. Elite Heat Digital Spice Rack. That's fun. That is really fun. Okay. All right. Listen. You're probably right though. Learn Jason V2 stream. Okay. So the V2 is definitely in that sort of like sloggy last 10% phase. So I've got a to-do list put together on that. We are going to we'll be like bug squashing if we do the V2 stream. The Leet Heat software is a state machine. It's using XState, and the intention with that one is to have the XState machine lives on the producer's screen, and then we'll have simpler machines that we're going to push the state into convex as like a way to persist so that you can like reload the page and it won't break everything, et cetera, et cetera. And then I need to have simpler machines that will like read that real-time data out of convex and do the right things with it. So, for example, on the podium displays, we have to display the spice level and the current score. And on the host, we need to show the current question, current category, who's spinning the wheel, other details that, you know, like basically Mark has a tablet that like gives him a heads up of what's going on with the whole thing. Shooting soon, so maybe prioritize lead heat. That's not a terrible idea. Xdate's never quite clicked. Yeah, so Xdate is definitely one of those things that every time I use it, I feel like I kind of have to learn it again. You know what? Why don't we do it? Because then we can dig in a little bit, have some fun with it. Let's make it happen. So let me make sure I've got all the right things on the screen and none of the wrong things before I start sharing. And just close that one. Okay, all right, so let's share screen. I know we said state machines enough times. I imagine that David's going to show up any moment now. Is Lead Heat off open source? It is. So I will share that repo and all those good things. Let's go screen one. There we go. And then everybody can still see, but we're in the wrong view. So let's do this one. And then we will get the banner set up here. Let's see. Building a state machine powered game show app. How about that? And then is it going to let me update the title of things while we're going? We're going to find out. Let's try. Stream must be scheduled in the future. Okay, so you can't edit. Can't edit while you're live. Looks like it did it on X and Twitch. Can I do it on YouTube while we're live? That seems like that's probably a lot, right? Did that just update for everybody on YouTube? Like, can you see the new title? Yeah, all right. Okay, y'all can see my screen, so you can see that I'm checking social media instead of doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So let's talk a little bit about how this state machine works, because it is a bit of a doozy. How do we want to do this? I guess let's just zoom in on different parts here. So the way that this works is we start out where we're ready to begin. I can end this simulation. And so when you're ready to begin, you start the game. Starting the game initializes the context for the given game. And eventually what that'll do is I want to pull it out of the URL so that each episode will have its own like unique slug that will allow me to set up like who the contestants are and what the questions and categories are and all that kind of stuff. So you begin the game, then you spin the wheel. And when you spin the wheel, you can do two things. You can land on a category or you can land on Lead Heat. So if you land on Lead Heat, you have to eat a spicy bite. So we pause there for a second. And then after the contestant eats the spicy bite, they have to choose a category. So once you choose a category, or if you land on a category, then we set the active category, and then the host will explain what the category is, and if it has a sponsor, who the sponsor is. Then we start the round, and that sets the first question. The host then reads the question, and we have one of two potential states here. Either a contestant buzzes in, or nobody presses a buzzer. And then if a contestant buzzes in, they are going to answer the question. And then if they are correct, we mark the question as complete, we update their points, we mark the question as complete, and then we move to the second question in the category, or if we're out of questions, then we mark the category as complete, and we'll get to that in a second. If the answer is incorrect, we need to increase their spice level and reduce their points. We're going to introduce that mechanic because I noticed in the first 2 episodes, if somebody got a certain number of points, it was kind of like impossible for them to, there was no comeback available, like it was just over. So we're going to reduce points so that there's a chance for people to kind of go up and down throughout the game. If they get it wrong, they then have to eat their spicy bite, and then we wait for a second for the opponent to have a chance to answer. So if there are remaining contestants, then we wait for a buzzer, and either no buzzer is pressed, like the second contestant doesn't try to answer, or a contestant buzzes in. Or if there are no contestants less, like it's the second contestant, then we move to the host reading the answer. But let's say the second contestant buzzes in, it goes back to the contestant answering, and let's say they're incorrect, then we go down to them reading the correct answer, or we go to the correct answer, right? So all of that then leads to if questions remain. So we just repeat that loop until the category is run out of questions. Then we end up at category complete. So when the category is complete, we check if there are any categories remaining on the wheel, and let's assume there are. So then we go back to spinning the wheel, right? And so we spin the wheel, we set the category. Are we marking the category as complete somewhere? Yeah, we mark the category as lead heat, because that means that if you land on that category again, you have to do a lead heat bite, and we're going to do that with stickers in the future so that we can like recover the board. So then you go through, you kind of repeat the process. You land on a category, you set the category until no categories remain, at which point we complete the round. And then if it is round 1, we go to round 2, and we repeat the process all over again. If it's round 3, that's going to be our final round, and so we end up over in this final round start. And the way we're going to do the final round is we are going to reveal a final category, and then we're going to have contestants guess, or like basically bet on how confident they are that they'll be able to answer that question. And then we will automatically increase the spice level. I'm considering, I don't know if I'm going to do this or not. I could use some feedback on this. I was considering increasing the spice level all the way to the maximum so that for the final challenge, both people will have taken the spiciest possible bite. Or I could do like a +2 so that if the contestant has done really, really well and they're like, no, they've never hit lead heat, whatever, they're on level 2 for their spice level, they would only be at level 4, right? Which would be a distinct advantage, I think, over somebody who's at like level 10. So they then take their final spicy bite. And then we're gonna, I put this in as like timing. I don't think I'm actually gonna do it as timing. I think I'm gonna do it a different way. 'Cause like this feels like maybe too much. 'Cause like we don't really want to like, I don't know. I think I want that to be more of like a press. But then if you're correct, you increase your points. If you're wrong, you reduce your points, and then the game ends. Yeah, I do think like the spiciest bite before the final round is definitely kind of funny. Yeah, this is Stately. Stately, let me, actually, I think I can just share the whole thing with y'all. So y'all can go see this state machine here, and you can like simulate it and all these things. And a cool thing about this is that if you simulate, let me actually zoom out a little bit because so then you can actually play, right? And so let's say we landed on lead heat, got to take a spicy bite, we set the category, we start the round, and then contestant buzzes in, they answer correctly, there are more questions. This time nobody buzzes in, so there are more questions. contestant buzzes in and they are incorrect. So now there are opponents, and let's say the opponent does answer and they're correct. So we can kind of see like how the game works, right? You're kind of moving through the state machine, and then once you're done, no more categories, no more rounds. You get to your final round, you get to your final category, you place your wager, you take your final spicy bite, and then we wait till the end of the round, and then you end up at the end of the game. So that's kind of the logic. You can see how this works. One of the reasons I really like Stately and X-State in general is that the core idea behind a state machine is that it makes impossible things explicitly impossible. Like if you have a bunch of if statements, it shouldn't be possible for you to get into a state where something is both open and closed. However, if there's not a programmatically perfect way of asserting that thing is impossible, then there is a chance somehow that somebody could do something weird, click a button 4 times, and end up in an impossible state where things are both open and closed, or where something is disabled and submitted, or however it is, right? Like there's a lot of ways that people can break these things. And in a state machine, the way that it works is that you are effectively forcing everything. There's only like one direction to go, right? It's either you're in a state, and that state has very well defined things to go in and out of it, and anything other than that is not allowed. It'll either do nothing or it'll throw an explicit error. And so the nice thing about that is that you have to think really clearly about what it is you're trying to do. And I had to remake this state machine several times to get it to actually feature everything that I wanted it to feature. Because what I was originally running into is like, I was doing some stuff, and even as I was talking through this, I realized a couple of things that I missed. Like, for example, I want here, let's go here. I want this to also include increasing the spice level. Because when we go into round 2, I want the spice level to go up. Why didn't that work? Oops. So this then it's just a good way to force you to think clearly about what it is you're doing. And so I've really liked it for that. They have a bunch of extra features if you want, but let's see. Yeah, I did change my title. We're going to see if this works. Let's see. A game where people make bets about how many guesses they need to solve a question. What if you did that with spice levels? Oh, buddy. I was thinking of doing it kind of like Final Jeopardy. I thought that would be a fun way to do that. What's up, Dragon? Yeah, Stately is the one. Let's see. Did I build it in Stately and then just copy the code? I did, and the nice thing is it gives me all the code over here. So that's where the code started, and then I took it over into here, and I've got my game. And so I made some changes. First and foremost, I am using Zod for my types because that helps me think. And I took the events out and like exported them as one of these so that I could do like mapping over different events and stuff. And then for the game events, originally I thought I could just make it one of these, but it turns out it doesn't work like that because some of them need input, and that was kind of a bummer because now I have this like duplicated code, which it's fine. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt anything. But then you end up here, you do your setup. So we've got our types, we've got our context and our events, and so that's what I set up here. And the game is, you can see this is the Zod type. So we have our categories, we have our questions, we have our contestants, and then we have sort of like active, like current information, what round we're in, what category we're in, what question we are asking. Game events is what everything we just defined above. And then there are actions. So we can begin a game, set the category, and so on and so forth. And the way that we do this in Stately most of the time is we are updating the context. And so there's this helper function called assign, which allows you to change either some or all of the context. And so in begin game, I'm just replacing the context. And so I've got a guard here, like if it's not begin game, which theoretically this shouldn't be possible, but hey, why not be extra super duper pooper safe? Then we grab the first round leader or the first contestant, make him the round leader. I should probably find a way to do that better. In fact, make a way to randomize first round leader. And then we return that context and set that as like the game context. And the intention is that this will eventually come in from convex as being like the source of truth for the game. Then we can set the category, we can clear the category, and you can see here this is a more like common use of assign, where you set your just the one field in the context is updated. And so in my case, I'm setting the current category based on the category submitted through the event. When we want to clear that, we just set it to null. Setting the question, I've got a bunch of console logs in here that I don't need anymore. So we go through the different questions, we figure out which one we're in, and we return the question that is not, it needs to be in the current category, not complete, and in the current round. So there's a lot of like guards there to make sure that works. Setting the buzz-in contestant, we update their like the questions buzzed in field to include the current contestant. Oh, actually, this is a two-parter. So we set the question because I want to track whether or not anybody else is left to answer the question. So we just throw the contestant into this this buzzed in field on the question itself, and that way we can see like nobody buzzed in, both people buzzed in and got it wrong, one person got it buzzed in and got it correct, et cetera, et cetera. Then we also update the contestants, and we set this this temporary field that shows that they are buzzed in. And I could probably do that. Honestly, probably should do that in other state. This is fine. I don't mind this. To increase the points, we grab the score, we grab the current round, and then we multiply that by 100. So 100 points for the first round, 200 points for the second round. Where I need to let's see, handle final round score increase, and that's probably going to be something like if there is an event that includes a value in the score, then set that, whatever it is. If they get it wrong, we take them out as the round leader. If they get it right, we set them as the round leader. Where's the incorrect? Where's the correct? Wait. Oh, right. If they're correct, we set them as the round leader. If they're wrong, or if they're not buzzed in, we remove them as the round leader. And that's a way to like swap to who the correct person is. We also remove the buzzed in state once we add their score. And then to reduce points, it's the same thing in reverse. Increasing the spice level, we check their spice level and increase spiciness. There's some conditioning, or there are some conditions here, like if you land on a category and you are the round leader, this is the wrong one. Land on elite heat. So what that should be. Then down here, we mark the question complete, and that is currently just a flag, which helps me filter them out. Then to mark the category as elite heat, we have the categories, and we check that the category is true. So right now, we just have the category name and a Boolean. False is like there are questions available, it's ready to play. True means that the category is completed, it's now elite heat. Reset just undoes everything for the second round. So like first round, everything goes, all the categories get set to true. Second round, we reset them all to false again so that we can play another round. Increasing the round number, as you can imagine, we take the current round and then we add 1. Setting the wager amount's not done yet. Calculating final stores, not done yet. Then we have guards, and the guards are how we determine when states are conditional. And what I mean by conditional is something like here. If questions remain, and we do that by running has remaining questions. So if that returns true, then we go over here and read the next question. Otherwise, we mark the category as leet heat because there are no more questions in that category. So something like has remaining questions, we are looking for the questions and trying to figure out, are there any questions left that are not complete and part of the current round in this category? And if the answer is no, then we know that there are no more remaining questions. It'll return false. Has remaining category, same kind of thing. We're looking to see if the categories are complete. And with this one, because it's a category name is the key and then the value is a Boolean, we just grab the values and we can check whether or not that Boolean is true or false. And we're using some because we really only care if like any of them are true, which would be the opposite of this, right? Then we want to continue playing this round. Has remaining contestants, same general idea, but we get rid of some console logging here. We're just checking to see if all of the contestants have buzzed in. So we're checking to see if every contestant has buzzed in on the question, right? Is final round if we are greater than 2, so 3 or above. Shouldn't be possible to get to more than 3, but why not be extra super safe? Is correct. We haven't implemented that logic yet. So that one I actually think is just going to need to be... Actually, I think this one only gets used in the final round, so probably... Yeah, this one we're actually not even going to end up implementing because it doesn't matter. It'll be more of like the host or the producer will push a button. So then we have like our initial empty state. This all gets replaced as soon as we hit begin game. You can add descriptions and stuff, which I really like. Then we've got our states, and the way that this works is you have your states, and this is our initial state, so we know we start here, and then we define what actions can be taken. So in our given case, the only action that can be taken is to begin the game, and when you take the action of beginning a game, it goes to spinning wheel, and the action begin game will fire, which is the one that we defined up above in our actions block. Is everybody following me here? There's a lot going on in state machines. They're surprisingly simple and also very hard to get your head around. Like, there are a lot of individual pieces. They're all reasonably straightforward, but then there's also a bunch of stuff that I still don't quite understand, like the difference between a new machine and an actor. Like, I kind of get it, but I also don't entirely get it. You know what I mean? Like, is stately purely visual for the purpose of stepping through your logic? Yeah, no, this is stately is like a visualizer for this code. Let's see. Yeah, Jacob, it took me a while to get my head around this, but it is pretty it takes a minute. And yeah, I think I have the same challenge with XState where there's stuff that I know how to do, but it doesn't immediately fit a state machine mindset. And so then I find myself like I rabbit hole on like how state machines are supposed to work instead of doing the work that I'm trying to do. But yeah, this is super useful to like walk through how things work. When does it make sense to use state machines rather than context or Redux? I mean, that is a very big it depends kind of question. I think what I have found is that if you have sequential anything, it is probably worth exploring a state machine for it. Because when you build an if tree, or when you build a complex reducer, or you're getting into a lot of like Redux actions and stuff, you're building a state machine. It's just not as structured, so there's more room for weirdness to seep in. And so what I've like the way that I said this already, but state machines make impossible states impossible, and they do that through verbosity. And I think that's sort of the challenging bit, is it can feel really silly right out of the gate. Like, you know, if we start a new machine and, you know, we're going to do something like, maybe we have something like this, like you have a state, and then you can either increment or decrement that value. And to write all of this feels like a lot. Like you've got your context, and then when you take an action, the action is going to take the value and, you know, increment it or decrement it. That can feel like a lot. So, you know, I guess the challenge that I have is always figuring out like how much pain am I going to cause myself for this now versus how much maintenance is it going to need later. And so the thing that's interesting about a state machine is that this will outlive any framework, because the logic happening here is from like an academic paper in the 70s. So you can do state machines in, you know, they'll generate TypeScript, JavaScript, JSON, and Mermaid. I don't even know what Mermaid is. But you can write state machines in any language, because this type of logic is not restricted to JavaScript or restricted to React or anything like that. So the nice thing is that if you've got a state machine and you use it in React, and then later you decide you're going to port your whole app to Svelte, a state machine will still work in Svelte. And in fact, in the docs, they have, let's see, the xstate docs. There are, like, none of this is related to any framework. This is, you're just kind of doing a thing, right? And so you can port this into any code base, and it's just going to work. And it's very testable, and it's very predictable, and it's very safe. So there's a lot of good reasons to look at this. The challenge, of course, is that when you look at something like this, to have a like increment, decrement, and set in this much code can feel very overkill. Can feel like you're just doing a lot. But again, having this sort of setup where there's no way to break this. You're either incrementing, decrementing, or setting a value, right? So that's kind of what I think the major goal is. Oh, nice. You used a state machine in the retro game hackathon. That's cool. That's very cool. Hooking it up to the rest of your code, that part I don't mind so much. Actually, let's look at how I did that in this game here. So we've got our actual game machine, and then I'm using TanStack router in here. So here, just a quick look at the types. I have the game set up. You know, there's contestants categories and so on and so forth. All these pieces in here. None of it's particularly interesting. This just gives me type safety, gives me some predictability, and then we get into the producer here. And so what I'm doing is I'm getting all of my React stuff. I'm using TanStack router and Vite, and in my producer view, I have let's start out here, right? So we go through all of the available events, right? And, well, okay, hold on. So we start by just using our machine. And the way that this works is in React, there's a hook. In other languages, you would like create machine or use or something, create actor, and then you get back a state object and then the ability to send an event to the given actor. So my machine is for my game. So I have the game state here. I have the ability to send an action to the game state here. And then what I've done is I've set up my controls where I just loop over all of the available events. And then I have this is some chaos that I need to refactor, where I switch on the type of event. And if the state is allowed to perform that event, which means like if I'm in the ready to begin state, the only thing that the state can do is begin game. So I can be confident in running this loop that I'm only going to show buttons on the screen that somebody can actually do. Like they're only actions that can be performed. So then I switch to change out some of the stuff based on what is happening. So if they land on lead heat, there's a button that says land on lead heat. Or if the available action, is to land on lead heat. Same here with landing on a category, choosing a category. For this one, I have done a loop over the categories themselves so that we can send the category in with the event so that we can set which category is being chosen. For contestants buzzing in, similar kind of thing, but we put in who the contestant is so that we can say that, like A or B buzzes in. For questions or a chance for opponent, with nothing to do, you just continue. That's the reason I put those in, is because I needed a beat for the host to say something. Like they're gonna read the correct answer. They're going to ask the contestants, like, hey, you need whatever. And then as a default, we just put the name of the event on the screen. And then down here, we pull some things out of the state. So for the current round and category, we just grab the state and the context, and then we can pull out the current round, current category. Who's the next to spin? We go find the person who's the round leader. Who's buzzed in? We go find the contestants that's buzzed in. For the current state, we just dump what the current state we're in is, so just the name of it. And then down here, we're pulling in the questions based on what round, what category we're in. And if it's complete, we mark it as complete. And then finally, down at the bottom for debugging, I'm just dumping the entire context, right? So let's look at how this works in practice. We're already running, so I can come out here and let's go to localhost 5173, and then I need to go to, I have this set up with like route names. So this is what the game currently looks like, and this is, as you can see, we're very much work in progress here. But I have the ability to begin a game, and then I have our available categories. So I did a limited set of categories for easier testing. There are, let's see, I think 2 questions in each category, 1 per round. Oh, there's 1 in, yeah, so we've got web standards. Wait, why don't I see my web standards? Oh, I limited the number of categories. So there's still questions down here, but they don't show up in only the categories show up. So then down at the bottom, I can also see we've got contestants. So I put me and Marissa in here. We've got score 0, spice level 0, our correct and incorrect questions, whether or not we're buzzed in or the round leader, all that good stuff. So then down here, I can say, okay, so we started, I'm spinning and I choose CSS. And then we start the round and I buzz in and then I'm incorrect. So then we get to make me eat my spicy bite, then we continue, and then Marissa has a chance to buzz in. Let's say she does, and then she's correct. So now we've answered all the questions in the question complete. So then we come in here and we get to see if categories remain. So now we're back and we can see that I can either land on lead heat or backend. And if we go look at the score, we can see that I'm at negative 100 points. My spice level's gone up by 1, and Marissa got it right. So that's 100 points, and the spice level's still at 0. And because she got the question correct, she's the round leader now. So we can see that that is updated here where Marissa's the next to spin. And so we'll say that it's a back-end question. We're going to start the round with our first question. And so now Mark's reading the question. We're going to say Marissa buzzes in and she gets it right. So now we're at our back-end question, and so we continue. The category is complete, so we check to see if categories remain. And the round is complete. So now we're going to move on to round 2. So now we're in round 2 and we're asking questions. So here we go. CSS question 2, and we're going to start the round. So I buzz in and I am incorrect again. So then Marissa buzzes in and Marissa's also incorrect. So now we get to the host reading the correct answer, but the question gets marked as complete. And then down here we can see that Marissa's spice level is 1. She lost her 100 points. I haven't gotten the question right yet, so I'm down at negative 300 and my spice level's up at 2. And so then we continue, categories remain, so we do backend, we do start round, I buzz in, I'm correct finally, and now we're in the final round, so we get into the final category. And I haven't implemented this part yet, so we can't really show it, but that's how that's all working. And so we can see here I'm making a little bit of a comeback here, almost back to positive points. Marissa's still at 0, spice level's at 1. And if we go look at the questions, we can see like who buzzed in. We can see here that like these are the questions that weren't in the list. On this one, it's complete. Both of us buzzed in. So how does that, everybody getting that? Everybody making sense? And then the other thing I can do too is if like we hit this, the elite heat, then, oh, it didn't hit me. Okay, so I got to fix that because that didn't do what it was supposed to do. So let's go fix it. Transition to a new state. How do I make that go to a new route? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. That is a, let's see. That's a good question. So the way that I have done that, oh, you know what? That's a good question. Because I typically don't do it like that. But it probably should, because then you would have like URL addressable stuff. I don't know. This is where, let's see, state machine. Is David here yet? Let's see. Yeah, it's just logic, and that's great. Like that, I think is pretty excellent. What's up, Freeston? How you doing? Hey, Shruti, how you doing? What's up, Sonic Astra? Are state machines a better option for event-based applications like your game show versus normal state management for something like an e-commerce app? I think probably, like, I wouldn't try to make an e-commerce app into one giant state machine, but like I would make a cart a state machine, because you're doing very finite event-based things like adding items, removing items, calculating taxes, things like that are all very rigid. Like there's not a lot of flexibility in the way that a cart works. It does a very specific set of things. So it makes a lot of sense to make that into a state machine. I don't know that I would try to make my navigation, like thinking more about this, I've never really put, oh, did we get rated? What's up, y'all? Welcome. I don't get any information through StreamYard about when people raid, so welcome in. Thank you for raiding. Who did the raid? What's up, Alex? How you doing? But so yeah, to like fully answer this question about state management, I think there are places where I feel like you're trying to shoehorn it in. And that could be, oh, what's up, C# Fritz? Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. I think that there are definitely places where it could feel like you're sort of square peg, round hole. If you try to like force a state machine in, I imagine that as someone has more experience with state machines, that feels less. It feels less like it's square peg, round hole. Because I know that there are patterns for things like you can turn a promise into a state machine actor. You can turn, so like the fetch becomes part of the state machine and like feeds different things. However, when you start getting into like full page navigation and stuff, if you're reloading the page, then you need to be able to retrieve the snapshot of the state machine and like repopulate your state machine, which you can do. And that's actually what I'm planning to do with this state machine because I need a way to allow somebody to kind of like refresh the page without blowing away their entire game, because you can actually see right now the way that it works. I am in the middle of a game. If I refresh, we're back to the beginning and we're not doing anything. So I need a way for this to like have this kind of little URL up here. That needs to pull something from Convex, which will pull the in progress game and allow us to do that thing. The other thing that I want to figure out on this is I want to figure out an undo button, which I know is possible because everything in a state machine is steps. So like we can roll something back. So I just need to look at exactly how that's implemented and see if I can figure it out. Yeah, there's a decent amount of, it's like there's some questions, right, on things that I don't entirely know how to do, things that I might not use the state machine for. Like I might not need a state machine for example, displaying the podium, because that's just reading the contestant's score and spice level. So for that one, I probably don't need a state machine. That doesn't really make sense. And there's no actions to be taken from the podium. It's a read-only display. And maybe for the host display as well, there's no need for that to be a state machine. It's just sort of like a reflection of the current state. But for the producer view, where I'm pushing buttons and controlling things, I need the ability to, you know, like I don't have a way to manually adjust somebody's score or spice level. Like if we had, like Mark made some jokes in the second episode where we were just gonna like penalize somebody by increasing their spice level because they like I think they made a bad joke, and we were joking that we were gonna just increase spice levels for that. So that'd be kind of fun, right? There's definitely ways to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think nav isn't really a good use case. Thanks, Devin. I appreciate that. Something similar to Stately, but for Redux. That's a great question. I have not seen it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I'm not super into visualized tools, because most of these, like, so what makes Stately so easy to, or what makes a state machine possible to visualize is that it is so heavily structured, and Redux is much more flexible in a way that makes it very difficult to predictably model. So I imagine somebody's tried. I don't know if anything has emerged as like a winner in the space of like a great way to visualize Redux logic. The Redux dev tools are pretty decent at visualizing the logic because you kind of see the steps forward and backward going through the thing. Yeah, the Redux dev tools and extension is probably the best. Like I know that one is good. It's not a visualizer in the sense of Stately, but it does give you clear snapshots of like where your state has been in your app. Well, so Stately is the visualizer for XState. That's or unless you're asking if we're doing XState, in which case the answer is yes, we are. But so okay, so let's see if we can figure out a couple of things here. So the first and foremost, there's an easy one in here, which is that I want to increase the spice level when we increase the round. So host announcing category, no, we want to start round. Reading correct answer, question complete, category complete. So category complete, we want to, round complete is really where we want to be. So let's go to round complete, and we've got increase round number. Let's also increase the spice level. Okay, and I forgot a comma. There we go. So then when I go to increase the spice level, we have our event, and we're mapping over our contestants. So I think we might want to... Yeah, so we do the spice level increase. And then I think what we'll do is we'll probably have like an if event type equals round complete. Wait, what was the... Why don't we just actually add a thing, and we'll say that if the event data is just needs to be a flag, so it can be anything that I want, but I want it to be let's do round, we'll go like all contestants. And because what I want here is I want this to, when the round ends, everybody's spice level goes up by 1. So spice level increase equals 1. And then we need to go update this event thing. Oh, but I need to figure out which event it was that I was doing this on, because this is an entry. So it would be round complete, and we would send a type. I think I can do that. Does that work? We're about to find out. I think it's params. I think it's params. Let's go to the docs. Events. And we need action. Or I guess we need actions more than. Let's go entry actions. Entry and exit. And we pass in params. Okay, so we're going to send in params, and that's going to need to be an object. And we'll say all contestants true. And that way, why so many red squiggles? What a great question. I don't know what this, something's going on with the, like the types here, where it thinks it's getting a whole function. I opened an issue for this one because I'm not 100% sure what's causing it, but that's like this is what I'm doing is correct, but for some reason TypeScript isn't recognizing it, and yeah, there's an issue open for it. It'll get corrected. In the meantime, I guess I could just ts expect error, and then we could say C. Let's go to the GitHub. Is it stately? toss this in here. And that way we'll start clearing some of those out so that it's not quite as aggressive in here. I guess it will still be aggressive, but at least we'll know what's going on. And when it gets fixed, it will throw a new error so that I have to go remove all of these, which will be good. Yeah, I don't understand why these are getting picked up. And like, why doesn't that one do it? It's super strange. But this is like copy paste. This is like what was generated by Stately. So I'm very confident that this is, and it works, which is like another big sign that I'm not doing something wrong. But it is odd the way that TypeScript is behaving with these. We good? How many more we got? Event data. This is going to be params. All contestants. And that one's going to be true. And then I need to go up here and define this. Params does not exist on type. What is the, what's sending us to round complete? Categories remain. Okay, so then let's get back up here. If event type and actually, you know what I could probably do is just this. Although that feels a little magic-y. I don't know if I like that. I don't think I like. Well, no, this will work. This will be fine. So then I got to go back up here, and we're going to go to our event types, and we want round complete. So this one would be params, and then that'll be optional, and it's going to be all contestants, which is also optional, and that's a Boolean. Event params is possibly undefined, that's fine. And we can shoot down to these. Oops. This. Look at us. Should increase spice flag in the event params and simply check that flag in the increased spice level action. Yes, and so the challenge is that when somebody gets a question wrong, we only want to update the spice level for that one person. Let's go back to this. What was it? It was increase spice level. So if it's the like an incorrect answer or elite heat, we need to get either the person who spun or the person who answered the question and increase their spice level. On categories remain specifically, we want everybody's spice level to go up. And so that's kind of where I landed on this. Yeah, that's right, Shruti. We're building a state machine to make that work. Okay, so now maybe what we should see is let's see. I'm the round leader, so when I hit lead heat, my spice level should have gone up and it didn't. So let's figure out why. Let's go. Oh, wait, that's not even the thing that I was talking about. So let's go here, start the round, and we're just going to go fast on this because I want to see. So this should then bump everybody's spice level. And again, it didn't. So let's figure out why. So we will just go back to my favorite debugging tool, which is to do one of these. All right, so then we're going to go here. We're going to go here. And this should... I don't know, man. That should have done something, and it didn't. So why... Round complete. Entry. Did we get to round complete? Yeah, this was our round complete. So that should have done the thing. And for some reason it didn't do the thing. Increase spice level. Let's go back to increase spice level. Contestants. That should absolutely be firing. Let's log it up at the top, and let's just try this one more time. And that's our round complete. So we're not getting our params. Can you not do params on an entry action? Action params. Can I only get... Oh, I know why. I know why. It's because I'm doing the wrong thing, is why. So we need the params. Okay, so then down here, it's going to be one of these. How do I define that? Like, does that work? Okay, but then I need to make that optional so it doesn't error on everything. Okay. Try that one more time. Why? Oh, here we go. It did it. Okay, so now we get our... It still didn't... Oh, because it's... It didn't do it because I'm logging the event. I'm not logging anything now. I deleted it. Okay, that also works. But we should be able to, if we try this one more time, increasing spice level for everyone. Here. Try this one more time. Increasing spice level for everyone. There we go. Okay, so now we've got that doing its thing. When are you going to join? Soon. Yeah, we're editing the episode that Shruti was in right now, in fact. I was joking when Shruti was on the show because I built like the original version of the software was very fun, but it was janky. And so we had a couple moments where I broke the software and had to take a spicy bite. Oh, cool! You did a state machine for play along. That's great. Yeah, the Stately and X-State are pretty sick. I've been seeing a lot with Ghosty. I haven't actually tried it yet. I don't think I understand the value prop other than like it's a different shell. I also wonder if maybe I just might not be the right person because I don't spend enough time in the command line to like really feel the differences between different shells. Like when I switched from whatever the bash to Z shell when Mac made the switch, I didn't know there was any difference. Like it definitely didn't affect me in any way. And then people talk about some of the other ones and like I would love to know why it matters because I currently haven't really seen huge differences between them other than like the built-in shortcuts and yeah, I don't think I spend enough time in the terminal for that to matter much for me yet. I say yet, like someday it will. I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't think I'm going to be the guy that that needs a power terminal. Let's see. Okay, so that was one thing. Let's go do leet heat. So if we land on leet heat, we're supposed to do a thing, and that didn't work. So let's figure out why. And let's also log the contestant so that we can see what's going on there. And why are you suddenly mad? What? This seems like... Yeah, that was just my IDE doing something weird. Okay, so let's try leet heat. Contestant eating spicy bite. But it didn't do the thing. So why didn't it do the thing? Land on leet heat. Target contestant eating spicy bite. It didn't do the thing because I didn't add the action. So we're just going to add it. Then we'll come up here. And that should have set the spice level for me because I'm the round leader. So that's basically, I have now hit the thing, and then I would choose my category. So we're going to do that. Marissa gets it right. Now Marissa's the round leader. So then she lands on leet heat, and her spice level goes up. Good. Okay, it's doing the thing. I like warp. I've heard. I mean, I just saw a really good demo from Elvis on Learn with Jason. There was some really cool stuff in warp, and honestly, the next time that I am trying to productively procrastinate, I'm going to probably install warp. Because it was just cool. Like there were a lot of things that I could see, lots of, and yeah, like Jacob said, like, you know, you can click, you can use your mouse in your terminal, which I know is probably like blasphemy to a terminal purist, but I am not one of those. So to me, if I am typing and I missed a thing and I can click to go fix it, that's pretty sweet. They also had some really good stuff about you can share individual blocks, like copy the whole error. Just stuff that's really nice from a quality of life standpoint. So yeah, Vinny, this is something that I've been thinking about, is how to potentially just do a live stream for subs only, like supporters only. I don't exactly know how to do it yet, and it would be kind of weird because for example, we are filming 10 episodes of Elite Heat over the course of 2 days. So it's going to be a lot going on, and it would be a long day, right? The other thing that I was trying to figure out is how to do in fact, hold on a second. Let's see. Where was this? It was here. And you were just in the, is it Seva? Built this cool thing, which is like a play along for the game. So check this out. You start the show, and you play along, and then you end up. Okay, so check this out. So it paused the video here, and then anybody who wants to can go join this URL, the reactvts.com/join, and then you put in this code, and then on your phone you make a guess. Actually, why don't we just try this, because it'll be fun. And so the fun part of this would be, we could potentially do a live version. Let me put one of these in, and then it's what, CTPC. Oh, I can't type. Okay, so I'm in this room, and then we go to the next question. Okay, now watch. See how the question is now up on my phone, and the contrast is a little messy, so you can't see it. But then I can make a guess, and then once we run out of time or the host pushes finish guessing, then it shows local storage. And now look, my score, our scores are up on the screen, and so we can see who's playing. So this would be a really fun way to do premieres of the show, I think, where we could maybe do an early watch. Now the trick, of course, would be Seva and I would have to coordinate ahead of time to get this into the system, because it's clearly there's stuff going on here with what is there's metadata, there's timing, there's all this stuff that has to happen. But this is a really, really cool idea. I love how it works. I think it's super fun. So anyways, this is a cool thing. You should check it out. Great work on this. We'll finish guessing. I didn't actually do one, but yeah, look at that. This is fun. Wait, does it not show the scores? Yeah. Anyway, this is great. So it's a good time. I think it's extremely well done. Let me actually share the direct link to this, because it's cool. But so yeah, if you wanna go try this out, you can kind of go see it, right? It's cool. So anyways, yeah, lots of goals for making this a little bit more interactive. Potentially trying to figure out how to get sponsors involved in doing giveaways or swag or something for people who play. And then we'll have some fun with it. Yeah, this year is the year that I try to get better at involving the community a little bit more, because I think we did a good job with the hackathons for Web Dev Challenge. I didn't do a good enough job of sharing those. I have a whole bunch that I'm going to start sharing when the next episode, basically what I intended to do was share the hackathons, people who did, people who participated in the hackathons. I asked anybody who was willing to do a video demo of their app, and we've edited those. I've got them sitting in a folder. They're ready to go. But the way that they work is at the end, it's hey, come get involved in the hackathon. There's not a hackathon right now. So I need to wait for the next one to come out, which season 2 will probably be, guessing February, maybe. Well, we'll see. Might be March, but we'll get the first episode of season 2 of Web Dev Challenge probably filmed here in the next few-ish weeks. That's not true. Probably in February. And then it takes a little time to do the editing and all that good stuff. But so we are, but once that hackathon is out, then I'll start dropping the video demos. So I want to make sure that all y'all who participated in the hackathons, you get the recognition for the great work that you did. There were some super cool apps that came out of those hackathons, so we're going to keep those going. I think this might also be the year that I hire help because I need someone to be something between a producer and like an admin and like a lot of things, like a production assistant sometimes. Lots of little things that need to get done often that are just stuff that I do right now that I don't. I would have a lot more time to do a lot of other things if it wasn't for those. So yeah, kind of a handler, something like that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be a local job, so a Portland-based job, and I think the ideal lifespan of that job would probably be like a year or two for somebody who's trying to get into this space as like a creator, et cetera, because you would just be working with me to create a bunch of stuff for a bunch of video content and to run a video content business, right? So it would be a good way for somebody who's earlier to get a lot of experience and learn, and then I would fully expect that they would kind of take what they've learned and go launch their own thing, and then I'd have to hire somebody new, which there's another part of me that wants to find somebody who just wants to stay here forever and be on the team forever, but I also know that that's not a realistic expectation. Like, people are going to grow and move on and do their things. So yeah, it's going to be more than a virtual assistant. This is going to be I'm going to be asking a lot of this person. Like, it's going to be identifying clips. It's going to be working with editors. It's going to be scheduling, putting together call sheets, coordinating with production crew, coordinating with contestants, helping design, helping me do shorts, helping me filming things, potentially being in things. I don't know. I need all sorts. Yeah, Robin to my Batman. That's actually a good way to think about it. I look at a lot of folks who do content, and it seems like what I've noticed is they have a group of other creators who are on the rise, kind of hanging out with them all the time, and then those creators at first are helping, and then they're participating, and then they're branching off and doing their own thing. Make it a forever job. Yeah. I'm going to try to be competitive on the pay. I do want it to be something that somebody wants to do, and it should be something that, I'm not asking for an unpaid intern or anything. I want somebody to make a good living, and yeah, I think I'll be doing health benefits and stuff. I don't know. I have a business that's set up for that, so it should work. But all that being said, not actually ready to hire for that yet, but it's going to be soon, I think, because I'm going to start collapsing in on myself if I don't delegate something soon. Anyways, what were we doing? I'll tell you what we need to do. I need to take I'm out of water. I need to use the restroom, so I'm going to take a 5-minute break, and when we come back, we will dive back into this state machine here and see if we can get some more of the logic running and try to get that all kind of buttoned up and feeling good. So be right back. Okay. All right, where were we? What are we doing here? Let's fix this game. So, is there anything happening here that, or not happening here, I guess, that we want? So we get in here, begin the game, start the round. Okay, so what I should figure out is like an undo button. So let's see if there is an easy way to do this. Here's a great example that somebody else made. So add a circle, add a circle. Okay. So they add shapes. Switch to turbo. Okay. Actions undo, redo. All right. So to add a shape, you just drop in the thing. Delete shape. So here they're just doing context items, okay. And in the context they have a past. Where are they actually? Editor machine, where's the context? Past items and future. So everything that goes in they are adding the items. How do things end up in the past, though? Update past. Where does updating the past happen? They update the past on everything. And you can undo or redo or delete. Oh, you click to delete. Oh, interesting. Okay. And so when they update the past, it just takes the current past and adds the new items. So for me to do this, I would need the ability to add a state here that would just undo and redo, and then we would need every action. How does this work? Like, I get it for the simple case, but we would need a way to, like, undo. See, and this is where, like, deriving all the scores and stuff seems like a good idea, because I'm currently not doing that. And I had stopped doing that because I wanted the ability to just adjust scores. And so maybe that's okay. Because I guess, so what I'm guarding against is a misclick. Like if I'm in here and I go to continue and categories remain, and I accidentally click lead heat, or I accidentally click back end when I meant lead heat, we're not in the back end category, and I don't have a do-over. I would have to like rerun through the whole thing. And so what I am thinking is that we would need to include each action, and then to back off an action would be how would we back off marking a category complete, right? You would mark the category as complete, but then to undo it, you would just toggle its state. It's like you would need, oh boy. Good to populate a history of all previous states, yeah. But that feels like that would get kind of memory intensive, right? Like if we copy the context, and then if you hit undo, it would just go to the previous context. Yeah, maybe that's fine. Maybe we can like only undo. I guess if it becomes a memory problem, we can like only allow 5 previous states or something. Yeah, okay. I think that makes sense. I think that's a good way to go. So let's do history, and that's going to be an array. And I'm not going to worry about TypeScript errors for a second because I think I'm going to break this a few times before I really figure out how it all works. So we're going to go outside of our states, and instead we're going to have an on undo. And that's undo. And let's just see if we can make this work. So what I'm gonna try is every action, I'm gonna take a snapshot. I'm gonna take the context and I'm gonna put it into this history array. And then if we undo, I'm gonna replace the entire context with the like now -1 of the history stack. Yes. It sounds too simple, but maybe it'll just work. So we need an action that will, let's see. We're gonna do update history. That's gonna be a function that'll get the context. And then that will, actually, that one's just going to assign history. And that one is going to get a context. And we're going to say context history push context. That's already that's gonna create like an exploding complexity problem because every time it's going to include the history object, which means that we'll get like tons and tons of nested history objects. So if I am building an app, yes. I'm working on a state machine to power a game show, basically. So what happens? We have our history, we've got our context history, and I want to get everything in here except the history. So why don't we just... Oh, but then anytime we... No. Okay, I know how to do this. I think this will work. And we'll restore history, or we're just going to call this one undo. And that one is going to be a full reassign of the context. And the way that'll work is we're going to... We're going to return... let's see. Prev context is going to be context history at -1. Is that the... That's not right. Is it? Two, 3 at -1 is 3, so -2. That's what we want. So it's going to be at -2. And then what we're going to do is we're going to spread prev context except for history, which is going to be context.history. And theoretically, that will do what I want it to do. Yes. Maybe. Let's try it. So then we need this to fire on every state. It's like only the first one in the... It's very strange. Okay, so we're going to take that, and then we'll just move this... Well, let's start here with just a few. Land on lead heat, and land on category. Okay, so if that's correct, then we should be able to, at any point, get our history, which will start showing up down here somewhere. And then we need to add an undo button, which we can do on the producer setup here. Okay, so let's reload. Let's begin our game. Now down here, we should start seeing history. So, no, you know why it's not doing that? Because our types are strict, which means we do need to fix this type. So here's our game. History is going to be a Z array of Z any. We're just gonna steer right into that. And well, actually, no. Can we do circular references like this? Probably not, right? Yeah, no, you can't. That would be too much. Yeah, It's fine. We're gonna do this. It's okay. So we're gonna do an array of histories. At which point, that should almost make you happy, except. What do you mean? No, this works. Don't yell at me. I fixed this. There it is, right there. See? History. Type context. Type void is not assignable. Oh. What am I doing? Just why am I making any of this hard? We're going to do it like this. We're going to do context history, and then we're going to add this. Okay, there we go. So now everything's happy again except for you. And you're unhappy because we haven't defined that type or that state. So that one needs to just be down here. Now everybody should be happy. And now it's just doing the thing. Okay. So, maybe now? There's our history. Let's begin the game. How dare you? Uncotton promise. Oh, we didn't provide this. Let's do it like this, in fact, because I don't want people to really think about the history, so we're going to default to an empty array. Now it should work. It does. And so now our history is not updated. History is still not updated. Just kidding, here's our history. So theoretically speaking then, if I hit this button, only event objects may be sent to actors. You send type undo. Oh, right. Okay, try that one more time. Oh, I'm not targeting. Not targeting anything, so it doesn't do anything. So when you update the past, right, that updates those items. And then on undo, you just run the undo action, and that undo action just updates the context, which should update the whole context, which it's not doing, because I would expect we have the categories unset, so we begin the game. This is, let's see, this is the Moonlander And I think it's the Browns. What is that? What are those? They get new keys. I think I got the Browns, if I remember correctly. Anyways, this is a cool keyboard. If you like it, go get it. I have everything that I use actually on this page here. So you can kind of see all the gear that we use in the various shows and all that stuff. Okay, so what am I missing here? What I'm missing is that we need to transition back to the state that we were previously in. And I guess the way that we would try to do that is type undo. Can I get a target out of the context? If I click here and I do a target, is that a thing you can do? It's not immediately mad at me for that. Yeah, no, that's not it. Transition config. Yeah, because I don't think I can do this because I would have to like define let's open one of these machines and let's just try something. So for this one doesn't have, this one's active, right? So let's just delete these states and we'll say do a thing, and then here do thing done. And then what I need is I need a way to get back to this one that is an undo. And I'm pretty sure to do that, I'm going to have to know what this thing was. So I have to like track a lot of state here and then be able to sort of backtrack that. And I do think so I could do multiple actions with conditions. When you say that, though, do you mean like guard for what the event type is? Because I think the thing that's going to trip us up here is when we do this action, I need the action to transition to the previous state. And to do that, can you do that? That like goes up to the yeah, this doesn't seem right. tell parent something, which is like almost... I wonder if maybe there's a simpler way to think about this, which would be... if we take something... we take something like this, we land on a category, then theoretically we could just have a way to get back up here, right? And because if we wanted to change which category we're on, nothing has changed, no details are changed. So we could just call this like respin or something. So I guess we could do that, and then that would clear the category. And then bring us back out here, which would then allow us to kind of do the thing as if nothing had happened. And that would be fine. It's not a perfect undo because it doesn't like solve my overarching problem of like if I misclick something I don't have a back. And I suppose I could just do that for like all of these. These ones would be hard. The easiest answer is just don't make mistakes, right? Yeah, because I don't really want to build in all of that logic. That seems like a lot. But maybe it's the right way to do it because it's explicit and it allows me to control the way that the undo is managed. It's like if I do one of these, you know, then this one in particular would be decreasing the spice level and increasing the points to like negate that. Let's try this on the spinning wheel transition here. So so this is probably not what we need. Probably not going to end up doing that. Probably going to have to undo that history thing. Let's go up to spinning wheel. So they land on lead heat, they land on category, and then that goes to host announcing category. And here we would need like an undo. And so in the undo, we would go back to spinning wheel. And the actions would be to clear the category. So let's just try this. Let's see how this works in practice. So we begin the game, we choose CSS, and just kidding, we meant backend. Just kidding, we meant CSS. Okay, all right, I think that's the way to do it. I think that's the way it's gonna have to be. Let me go back up here then and undo some of this history stuff. So we don't want that, we don't want this undo or update history. We don't, let's see, we don't need that undo. Or I guess those stay, but then way down here, we're gonna get rid of this undo because that's not possible in every situation. Which then means that one needs to go away because it doesn't actually do anything. Okay, so we can begin the game. Choose, we undo. We lead heat. We need one on lead heat as well in case I misclick that. Okay, this is fine. Like host reading question. No. Host announcing category is the one that we want. So we're going to take this and we're going to go to contestant eating lead heat bite. And that one will need to also reduce the spice level. Oh, that we don't have that one yet. Reduce spice level. And we're going to do that up here somewhere, I think. Increase spice level. And on this one, for now, whoa, 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 whoa. There's our spice level decrease, and then we're just going to subtract that. I think the logic kind of stays the same. But for this one, it's going to be undo. Am I going to need like a fancy name for these? Undo lead heat. And this will be like undo incorrect. And this will be undo round change. Okay, so then I gotta go down back to my, what was it, host reading category? Undo lead heat. And then let's go up to our types. And instead of having just the one, we're going to have undo lead heat. Undo incorrect. And undo round change. That'll be true up here as well. I'm just going to copy paste these. Copy. Whoa, what is that? There we go. Okay, so those should stop yelling. Gotta fix that history thing, so let's get back over here. Get rid of that. Get back over here and figure out why this is complaining. Whoa. These ones I gotta figure. This is a different expect error. Because that one's not. Both of these actually are not because of the TypeScript stuff, but that's because some of them require params or data or whatever. And so the fact that I don't have those right now, because I'm just checking whether it can do a thing, and in this case I'm just like sending the event with no params. These need some kind of like disqualifier to make sure that the types aren't looking for the extra params, which would fix it for real, but I guess in the meantime we can just ignore it and pretend. Oh, what, now you're fine? Like, what is it about this that is causing that to happen? So this is going to be instead undo leet heat. Oh, what, now you're back? Bro. Okay, so let's try this again. We're gonna go lead heat. And so what that should have done is it increased my spice level. Let's undo the lead heat. It did not decrease my spice level. That means, oh, because I named it a different thing. Okay, well, that's easy enough to solve. Let's try again, lead heat. Spice level. Undo. Spice level. Hey, look at us go. All right, then we can come down here, and that's the wrong thing, so let's go back and fix that. Host announcing category. The undo on this one should be category. Undo leet heat, undo incorrect. Well, actually, none of those matter. So for that one specifically, we want it to be like undo category. And then we need to go up here. I want to fix this for real, but I'm not 100% sure how. I feel like it's fine, but not great. So that should fix that, right? Undo category, it gets unset. Good. And then when we go and look at it, it's still marked, like everything's marked. Oh, we need to clear the question as well. Okay, so when we undo the category, we are going to also clear the question. Okay, let's try that again. So here we are, we're beginning the game. We pick, so that gives us our category and also gives us our question. So if I undo, should have unset that, and it didn't. Category is null. Begin the game. Question and category are null. Now we have category. I undo. Do we not have a clear question? We don't. Well, that would explain why it didn't work. So clear category. Wait, what happens after increase point, set round leader? Should be clearing that question. Mark question complete. Oh, I'm doing it here, which I probably shouldn't, and should instead clear question. And we'll just make that into its own thing. And then here, do one of those, and then we'll do one of these. Okay, so now, misclick, undo, resets the categories, good. Then when we do it for real, start the round. Current question, we mark the answer correct. The question is complete. And that did not reset the question. So we need to fix that. Clear question. Current question is null. There's no reason that shouldn't have worked. Okay. Contestant buzzes in. Answer is correct. Clear question. Question complete, though. Really? Wait, where have I done this? Host reading correct answer. Mark. Oh, that's because that's the one where the answer is incomplete. So we need to actually go to contestant answering. Answer is correct. So we don't need that one. We instead need question complete to also have one of these. Clear question. And I guess we need one of these. So now we do one of these, we do the thing, somebody gets the answer correct. Question is cleared. And when we go look into the questions, we can see under CSS that this answer is complete, that Marissa buzzed in. Marissa has her points. Okay. I think that worked. How's everybody feeling? Everybody went quiet. Have I bored you to death? Let's see. So that feels like a good undo there. What do we got going on here? Okay, so we have the ability now to undo a category. We need the ability to fix a misclick on a question. So as we go, if I go in here and I start the round, if I misclick who the buzzer is, we could like reset the buzzer. And that would just clear the buzzer. All right. Questions. Remember, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Just gonna collapse down my state so that it's a little easier to navigate through here because there's just a lot going on. Okay, so host reading question, and then I don't like that. Oh no, what did I just do? Oh, oh Jesus. I don't want this. How do I get this to go away? Close Copilot. I just drag it down like that, I guess. Okay, so where am I even? Game. That unfolds everything, of course. And there's no way to get this to just fold like this in a way that then... Well, that seems fine. Why didn't the rest of them do that? Okay. So when the host reads the question, a contestant can buzz in, which takes us to contestant answering. Contestant answering needs a undo buzz in. And that will take us to the host reading the question, which is the previous state. And the actions will be clear buzzed in, which is going to require a new action that hasn't been defined yet. So do one of those, do one of these, and then we need to clear buzzed in. And so now, oh, this will be interesting. So that should drop the buzzer out. And then if we're clearing the buzz in contestant, everybody goes to false. And we need to test this. So I think that'll work. So let's undo buzz in. But it took me out. So it didn't, that part didn't work. Why didn't that work though? That feels like it should have. Event contestant. Oh, because we don't have... Crap. So we're going to need a way... I filtered but didn't assign. Well, this one is, because we're setting the context questions here, then we're just returning the whole context thingy. But that's actually not the issue because we're not sending in this event.contestant with the undo, which means we don't know who did the thing. And so if that's the case, that means we need... For that one, we would need to like clear buzzed in contestant. So I can't get the current contestant here, but what I could do I wonder if these execute in order. They should execute in order. And if that's the case, then I can, in this one, instead of event contestant, I can instead, I won't need the event at all, but I can say const currently buzzed in is going to be context contestants dot filter, and we're going to filter for is buzzed in, and then if we don't have a currently buzzed in or we don't have a current question, then we're going to bail. And then what we're going to do is we are going to check if currently buzzed in dot name what? We're going to check if currently buzzed in dot name. Okay, so fingers crossed this works. Let's see. Begin the game. Start the round, I buzz in, we undo that, it does not work. Okay, let's do some console logging. Is it going to be used when recording the episodes or to be an online play along thing? My intention is to build this in such a way that, like, the immediate need is this is how I run the game show. Like, when we record the episodes, this is how I'm controlling, like, points and making sure that the right things are showing up on podiums and on screens. The, like, midterm or short-term vision is to make it so that somebody could potentially play this game on their own, like on a website, which I have some questions about exactly how that would work, but like I think it would be possible. Let's do currently buzzed in. So we're going to log that because I'm curious if this is finding anything. Because if these are executing at the same time, then this would have been cleared before, right? Which I guess maybe means I would need to do like a full context reassignment, because then I could do them both at once. That feels like a lot. Let's see what the logs tell us. Currently buzzed in is me. Am I just bad at code? It seems likely. So let's context questions, context current question dot id dot buzzed in. Am I wrong that this should work? Filter C does not equal, and that should come back empty. So something, name is Jason, buzzed in has Jason. Whoops. And then we're going to do currently buzzed in. And that's going to be dot name. And this really should how? Like, am I just misunderstanding something? I am. Because it we can't do a filter. Because oh, God. Who else spotted it before me? This returns a new array. So what we need to do this kind of sucks. This doesn't feel right. Nope, that doesn't work either. Inserts replaces could we implement a separate history manager apart from the state machine? Store complete snapshots of state machine or machine state in an array. After important state changes, save a new snapshot. Track current position in history with an index. Undo moves back one snapshot. So, yes, but I guess the part that I wasn't figuring out is like I was able to update my context, but it wasn't moving to the right position in the state machine. Is there a way in X state to like have an action completely replace the machine with a new snapshot? Because that would be the challenge, right? AI will replace web dev? No. AI will be a tool that web devs use. It's not going to replace web dev in the same way that, yeah, it's in the same way that site builders didn't replace web dev, and like there's always custom stuff, and AI doesn't do custom stuff very well. Okay, so to fix this, I just need to change this value. Like, oh, I know what we can do. Watch this. Ta-da. This is the worst code I've ever written. No, it's not. I've done so much worse. This should fix it. There we go. So what was happening is when you filter, it returns an array but doesn't transform the array in question. So basically, we just had to reassign the returned value to the object, and that gives us a transformed array, which we could then return. So we could have done this. We could have done this a lot of ways. Honestly, doing it this way is kind of gross, but given the fact that we're drilling in with like a current question ID and stuff, it's just easier than rebuilding that object entirely. State.assign. State machines. Let's try what. Let's see. No, that's not what I want. I want this one, snapshot. So we can get a snapshot, and that was what I was wondering, is like if I could throw those in. But then once we have the snapshot, state value state. Initial states, finite states, yeah. Setup. What did it say? State dot assign? Yeah, that's a different thing. Yeah, this is the context thing. So if it exists, it is not documented. And let's see, replace. I feel like if this was something that they wanted you to do, there would be more discussion about it. I don't know. I'm kind of making a mess here, but it's a mess that we can untangle. And so I'm kind of okay with it, because what we've landed on effectively is that the state machine, each of these now has like key categories have an undo, and I can just kind of roll back the logic. So it's not ideal, but it's not terrible. Like we've got one for the lead heat, we've got one for clearing a category, and we've got one for a contestant buzzing in. So we would need to add a couple more on correct and incorrect. Yeah, so we'll need a correct and incorrect there. Undo here. And then let's see, where else would we need one? Oh, excuse me. On category complete, we need an undo there. Round complete, we need an undo there. Well, actually, no, that one's kind of logically driven. This one feels like it could almost automatically transition. Like some of these we don't need, because you'll notice as we go in, like if I hit some of these buttons, let's go here, start round. Like here, we check the round type. I don't actually need to do that. We could just move, right? Like we could just go to, because it was 2 clicks to get through to the next round. So this completes the round. There we go. So Marissa has like completed the question. So then when we continue, it should just start the next round. But instead it says category complete. But we could just kind of move. We could just go and do the round type and everything. So probably some cleanup to be done there for sure. I don't know. I'm starting to, my brain is starting to feel pretty cooked here from going through on these. So I think I might call it, because I'm feeling cooked. Like what? Okay, so let me just take some notes on like what's left. We need an undo. We did the undo for contestant answering. We need, actually we didn't quite, because answers correct goes to question complete, answers incorrect. So on question complete, we need an undo. And that one's got a guard, which is why it's doing that thing. So I need actions, and this would be undo correct. Rolls back points. And then Save that. Then this one is going to be in here. We need an undo for this one as well. That's going to be an undo incorrect. That one's going to undo the points and spice level. Then on the category complete, that one's derived, so we don't have to worry about that. Round complete is derived, so we don't have to worry about that. Contestant buzzer in. So that, I think, would... You know what? We can fix these before we wrap. Why don't we just get this done, and then I think I'll have all the primary game logic done. So let's do a type of what is it going to be? Undo correct answer. Or I guess this would just be like undo points, undo increase points. Oh, you know what'll be hard on this, though? On question complete, we clear this question. So... that one's going to be harder than I thought, actually. Because how do we track what the most recent question answered was? Because I'm going to have to figure that out. So I'm going to have to figure out what the question was, because when we clear that, once the question is marked complete, there's not like a history of what the most recent question was at the moment. So we'll have to manage that somehow. And then once we have that, we're going to need to know who answered it, which I think, are we tracking that right now? We are not. So we're not currently tracking like the correct and incorrect questions, which maybe that would solve that problem, because then, no, it wouldn't. All right, this one's going to take some thought. I think if I like walk away from this for a while, it will come back more clear, because it's going to be the same problem for an incorrect question. Now, incorrect will be easier because that one's got, it doesn't clear the question, well, unless it goes to the host reading the correct answer. Okay. So that means I need to think this through a little bit more. I'm going to let it marinate a bit because it's kind of melting my brain. I think I'm going to call this one... Yeah, I think I'm going to call this one a little bit early because I'm pretty out of brain juice. Okay, so we got fun coming up this week. We have who's I think this week actually I don't have a show. That is correct. This week I don't have a show. Next week I haven't put it up on the site yet, but we are going to have hopefully that part 2 of Corey Spiceman doing the testing, kind of the test-driven development thing. We had a lot of cool stuff going on that. I just want to finish that out because it was a great conversation and really good techniques. Then we're going to have Zach Jackson's going to come in and do RSPAC at the end of January. We are going to do SQLite and Terso just in time for Valentine's Day, talking to a handful of other people. And if there's somebody you want to see on the show, always let me know. Also, keep your eyes open for episode 2 of Elite Heat. It's not coming out this week, but hopefully soonish. Like, we're working on it. Thanks for hanging out, y'all. It's good to see you. We will hang out again soon. See you next time.